Okay, this is a quick video for Unit 2 quiz review for quiz number 1. There is no Google form and there's no notes sheet for this. It's just a few questions so you can get practice for the quiz tomorrow. So here's a study guide for what is going to be on the quiz. Transformations of functions, how to find the domain and the range, the characteristic points, function notation. So for example, if we have f of x, that's function notation. How to solve for x or solve for y. So how do we figure out x? How do we figure out y? How to translate up and down and left and right, and dilations. And this is just in terms of dilations, we're talking about both the x and the y. Transformations of quadratics, graphs, how to write a equation if it's right, if it's translating right, left, up, and down, if there's a vertical stretch or a vertical shrink or a reflection. Also on the quiz is adding and subtracting polynomials. We've been doing this for the past few days. How to subtract, remember to distribute the negative, then combine like terms. And then factoring, what happens if, for example, the coefficient for, if we have a quadratic, if the coefficient is 1, how do we solve that quadratic? What happens if the coefficient is greater than 1? So if we have a number like 4x squared plus 9, actually it would be 4x squared minus 9. How would we do that? And that actually is the difference of squares. 4-term polynomials and how to factor out a GCF. So here is a table of the function transformation rules and what the notation is and what it looks like as a function notation and what happens to the coordinates. So plus D will give us a vertical translation up. Minus D outside the parentheses will give us a translation down. If it's inside the parentheses, a plus C moves it to the left. This is where it's opposite. A minus moves it to the right. This gives us a reflection over the x-axis. This gives us a reflection over the y-axis. And our units, basically, we're going to focus on this. That's not till Math 3. This is a vertical stretch when A is greater than 0. When the absolute value of A is greater than 0, and a vertical compression when it's between 0 and 1. And I think this should say bigger than 1, not bigger than 0. So this should say when the absolute value is greater than 1. Again, this is what happens to our coordinates when we perform each of these transformations. Now the question that was asked in class, do we ever multiply times the x value? We can have a vertical or a horizontal stretch and compression, but not in Math 2. We won't have that. So these are the ones that you need to know for the quiz tomorrow. Okay, so here's some questions. Number 1, state the transformation from the graph of f of x equals x squared. So this is our parent function right here. And again, we're using the parent function of f of x equals x squared. So what you can do is work through these problems. Questions 1, 2, 3, and A and B, you're writing an equation. So f of x equals x squared using the function given transformations. What would the new equation look like when we stretch this by a factor of 2, shift it 2 units right and 4 units up? 4, 5, 6, and 7. 4 and 5 are just simplifying, and 6 and 7 are factoring. And if you go to the last slide on this video, the last slide has the answers. So this is where you will check your answers, but I would wait and do the questions first. If you have any questions, please come to Smart Block. 4th and 6th period, Smart Block is open on Wednesday, and then 5th period, we will go over it during SSR on Wednesday. Have a good night.